At 44, tech millionaire Brian Johnson decided he was not going to grow old quietly. Instead, he turned his life into a full-time anti-aging experiment. He built a personal longevity machine around himself, a small army of doctors, biometric trackers, constant blood tests, LED helmets, cold plunges, plasma swaps, and a routine so strict it made elite athletes look unstructured. And on paper, it worked. His biomarkers moved backwards, his organs tested younger, his skin, posture, and endurance all started to look and feel lighter, stronger, younger. But there was a catch. For every test that showed progress, another did nothing. For every treatment that pushed him forward, another came with side effects, discomfort, or results so tiny they barely justified the effort. Even his own medical team couldn't agree on what was essential and what was just excess. By the time he hit 48, a new question started to creep in. Did Brian really slow down aging? Or did he just build a life so controlled that he forgot how to actually live? That's the part almost every anti-aging conversation leaves out. Because longevity science has two very different worlds. One world is loud, high budgets, constant monitoring, and complex stacks of supplements and devices. The other is quiet, tucked away in places where people age well without labs, lasers, or color-coded routines. In Japan, a country where some of the world's oldest, healthiest, most mobile adults live lives that look nothing like Brian Johnson's, and yet their results speak for themselves. No harsh side effects, no rigid isolation, no million-dollar protocols. Every night just before bed, many of them do something incredibly simple, a short sequence of slow, gentle, intentional movements that scientists now believe helps activate the body's natural repair systems while they sleep. These aren't workouts. They're family traditions, passed down as a calming nightly reset. Most elders don't even think what they're doing is special, but when researchers started studying them, they were stunned. A team from a Tokyo Research Institute compared the mobility of older adults in Japan to those in Western countries. The gap was so huge, the lead researcher reportedly retested some of the participants because he thought the data had to be wrong. More than 3 out of 4 adults over 80 could lower themselves all the way to the floor and stand back up without using their hands. In a similar test in the US, fewer than 1 in 10 in the same age group could do it. But the real shock came from the lab work. When scientists looked at their blood and joint tissues, they found something remarkable. Inflammation markers in these elders looked more like those of people in their 40s. Not their 60s, not their 70s, their 40s. Their joints appeared biologically younger than their actual age. And the common thread, a simple nightly practice. Just 10 to 12 minutes of soft, fluid movements right before bed. That increase joint lubrication, release tension in the fascia, and send powerful repair signals to the body during sleep. In this video, I'm going to walk you through that ritual step by step, not as a dry list of exercises, but as a smooth, follow-along sequence. And I'll explain why each movement works as you do it. The night ritual begins, settling into the body. First, the night ritual always starts the same way, by getting close to the ground. Japanese elders begin by sitting on the floor. It's part of daily life there, eating, talking, relaxing. And over the years, this simple habit naturally keeps their hips, knees, and spine more mobile. Many researchers now believe that our modern chair lifestyle is one big reason Western adults lose hip and knee mobility so early. But once you start sitting on the floor, something subtle happens. Your body begins to let go of the tension it's been holding all day. If you're not used to sitting low, use a simple floor cushion. It lifts your hips just enough to support your lower back, help your spine stay aligned, and let your body ease into the posture without strain. With that little bit of support, this ritual stops feeling like exercise and starts feeling like something your body actually wants to do. And this is where most people make their first mistake with nighttime mobility. They skip the setup and jump straight into stretching. Phase 1, the gentle forward melt. From your seated position, extend your legs straight out in front of you. Then slowly lean forward, letting your hands slide softly along your legs until your body naturally decides to stop. No forcing, no bouncing, no push through the pain. This is the opposite of aggressive stretching. Scientists studying this type of movement notice something called myofascial decompression. That's when the tight layers of connective tissue around your lower back and hamstrings start to release and reorganize. When you do this just before sleep, your body uses the night to reset those tissues more efficiently. Clinically, this simple position has been associated with easing lower back discomfort, increasing flexibility over time, calming the nervous system, and dialing down overactive stress hormones. Japanese elders sometimes call this the evening bow, a quiet gesture of releasing the day. And once the spine starts to soften like this, the next movement opens up a part of the body almost everyone ignores. Phase 2, opening the gates of the hips. From there, gently sit up and bring the soles of your feet together, letting your knees open outward like a butterfly. In the West, many therapists call this a supported hip release. In Japan, it's simply a posture of ease, something people sit in while chatting, resting, or spending time on tatami mats. The real magic isn't what you see, it's what's happening deep inside the pelvis. This position helps loosen the hip rotators, soften the connective tissues around the hip joints, and counteract the stiffness that makes getting out of bed feel like lifting a mountain. In studies, older adults who kept this nightly habit showed more fluid hip movement, fewer balance problems, less strain on the knees, and easier transitions from sitting to standing. It's a quiet, gentle posture, but it secretly protects independence as people age. With the gates of the hips open, there's one more system they want to unlock: the spine itself and its ability to rehydrate and repair while you sleep. Phase 3, twisting the spine for overnight rehydration. Next comes a gentle spinal twist. You lower your knees to one side, let your arms relax out to the sides, and breathe deep into your rib cage. It feels simple, but what it does internally is powerful. This movement increases the circulation of synovial fluid along the spinal joints. In plain language, every slow twist helps your spine drink water. As we age, the discs between our vertebrae naturally lose hydration. That's what leads to stiffness, discomfort, and slower movement in the morning. But these nighttime twists help fluid move back into those discs while you sleep, supporting better spinal mobility, healthier nerve function, more comfort when you wake up, and a fuller, easier range of motion. You can think of it as wringing the stress of the day out of your spine, so it can refill and repair overnight. And once the spine is unwound like this, the next position targets one of the most overworked areas in the entire body. Phase 4, the knee embrace, the ancient anti-inflammation pose. With the spine relaxed, elders slowly draw one knee toward the chest. This posture appears in traditional Japanese therapeutic practices long before modern imaging ever caught up. When doctors later studied it with scans, they found that this simple knee embrace reduced compression in the lower back and improved blood flow around the nerves. Holding this position gently can help reduce inflammation, ease pressure in the lumbar spine, relax tight, overworked hip flexors, and even soothe mild digestive discomfort. Then they switch sides slowly, with no rush at all, because here, the slowness is part of the healing. And even though this looks incredibly gentle, the final posture in this ritual is the one that truly stunned researchers. Phase 5, the Moonlit opening, the most powerful movement of the ritual. This last posture is what really caught scientific attention. Elders lie on their backs, bring the soles of their feet together again, and let their knees fall open like the pages of a book. One hand rests over the heart, the other over the lower belly. Breathing becomes slow, quiet, and rhythmic. Researchers found that holding this position for just a few minutes before sleep triggered the release of naturally occurring joint protective compounds, the same types of substances often injected in medical treatments for joint wear. Yet here, the body is producing them on its own, simply from being placed in this specific alignment. MRI scans showed better nourishment of the hip joints, increased resilience in the cartilage, reduced inflammation markers, and deeper activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest, repair, and recover mode of the body. This movement is the heart of the ritual, the moment when the body quietly prepares itself for deep restoration. But why does a simple 10 to 12-minute sequence before bed create changes this big? Let's break down why this 12-minute ritual works so powerfully and how to make every second of it count. Why this 12-minute ritual works so powerfully. Brian Johnson showed us what science can force the body to do. Japan shows us what the body will do naturally when you treat it gently. No machines, no labs, just simple movements that work with how the body already heals. Here's the core idea. Your joints repair fastest during sleep. These movements act like a pre-sleep primer. They gently target the three areas that stiffen most with age: hips, spine, hamstrings. Slow, controlled motion before bed activates your rest and repair system, reduces inflammation, and improves circulation. You're not hacking your body, you're simply giving it the perfect conditions to do what it's been trying to do all along: repair you. And there's one final piece almost everyone skips. The way you end the ritual matters just as much as the movements themselves. Ending the ritual, a quiet moment of stillness. Once the last movement is done, elders don't rush. They don't spring off the floor or grab their phone. They roll gently to one side, push themselves up slowly, and sit for a brief moment in silence. Just one or two calm breaths. This tiny pause helps lock in the relaxation. It tells the nervous system, stay in this calm state. We're going to sleep now. Then, and only then, they stand up and go to bed. But what makes this so powerful isn't just the poses or the breathing. It's the completely different way they think about aging. What makes this nightly ritual remarkable isn't how simple the movements are. It's the mindset behind them. In Japan, aging isn't treated like a war. It's something you move with, gently, consistently, respectfully. These elders aren't working out before bed. They're not chasing personal records. They're simply giving their bodies the kind of quiet attention most of us have forgotten how to offer. And that's the real secret. When you stop forcing your body, it stops fighting you. When you stop treating aging like a battle, your joints stop feeling like casualties. Strength returns, flexibility returns. A version of you that you thought was gone starts to come back. And if you want more rituals, science-backed habits, and daily longevity tools that actually fit real life, hit subscribe and watch the next video. Your transformation doesn't start someday. Your transformation starts tonight.